Hello everyone and a very good evening to RPM Esports low gear around 11 out of 12. One more round before we head into the final race of the season. And we are in the USA, Texas, circuit of the Americas. And I'm getting everything ready for all of you to see what's going on. Quick look through the standings. We get Spring, who is currently leading the championship with 270 points. Closely followed by Matt Johnson, who's 33 points behind him. As you can see on the drivers attending, Spring is not racing, so Matt will be looking for a good result in this race and take the title fight for low gear with him to the final race of the season. Also, theoretical Zabiaka is still, and Jones are still in the title fight, both Aston Martin drivers. But for them it would be a little bit harder because they are relying on Spring and Matt Johnston, known as RPM Jono. The Constructor Championship, Aston Martin and Alpine are fighting about that title. Currently separated by a gap of 54 points. So whatever happens today, that one will go down the wire in the final race. While we see Spivey, who is an American, Rusty Oil Can, sorry, my bad. Spivey is an American. It's a home track for him, and the same for AFS Netty in his Red Bull. While I see Liam joining the chat already. Good to see you here, mate. Opening the dashboard now for everyone, so I can keep you all up to date. Weather predictions are sunny all the way for qualifying and for the race. We're gonna see who started this lap. It's Rusty Oil Can, currently going into the S's of this track, who are based, are inspired on Maggots and Baggots in Silverstone. Funny fact to know. See Rusty taking it really easy there. So easy to invalidate in those corners. Also, there's not a lot of traction with all the elevations on track. Some support for Rochin joining the chat right now. I know someone else who will be probably joining the chat soon and cheering for both of the Ferraris. Massive short shift from a Rusty Oil Can here. And same here. So he's definitely going for at least a banker lap. Not invalidating, don't lose traction. While I thought Rusty was the first one on a lap, it was Uglarp who set at 34.7. No, a 35.6, and Rusty just went for a 34.7, while Spritzy goes for a 34.0. Gui moves into second place with a 34.2, and Jones goes for a 34.0 as well. Jones, who told me he is not feeling too comfortable around this track. The same was for Monza in his case. And we have all seen how that ended. While one of the Mr. Ferraris just joining the chat, cheering for his Ferrari's drivers. And he sees Rochins, one of the Ferrari drivers, moving into pole already. Zabiaka, as I said. Oh, and we see Gerla, who loses it there. while moving on board with Zabiaka, we saw him losing it. Zabiaka moved into P2. So both Astons looking good again. Puggy joining us in the chat. Puggy should be more focused on driving. Driving a Mercedes doesn't mean in RPM you will go from the back to the front that easy, Puggy. Roosbeertje, we see him move into P10, 35.1 opening lap from him. Westy now approaching the final corner to set a time with the second Ferrari. And it's a 33.5 from him. So great opening laps for both Ferraris, who take P1 and P2 with their banker laps. Moving to the American AFS Netty in his own track. Also see him take a very careful line through those S's. Let's name it the USA Maggots and Baggots now. Now we know it's actually the Maggots and Baggots was an inspiration for this designer to get those S's in. And if I'm not mistaken, also turn 8 might look familiar, but that one is based on one of the turns in Turkey. I believe it was no, I'm telling you completely wrong information right now. It's the Maggots and Baggots section in Sector 1, of course, and that one ends in a corner based on turn 8 in Istanbul. So it's a little bit of both. And of course 2 long straights on this track. This is one of them. While we see Netty moving into pole with a 33.2. 2 tenths up on the Roachins. And we also see him get off the throttle straight away. RPM Jono, our number 2 in the championship standings. As I said, 33 points behind Sprink, who is not driving. So, might be some extra pressure on Jono right now to, of course, take the lead in the championship. Start the final race maybe as a leader in the championship. What might help out a lot as well, because then you just need to make sure you finish in front of your competition. But I don't need to explain you guys that. Jono actually joined me right before the race in the comms booth. Same for Spritzy. I don't know what those Alpine drivers were up to. But somehow they ended up in here. Didn't want too much stream time, Jono. Still giving it. So a little bit loss of traction there, but the first car to go into the 32. A second faster than AFS Netty right now. So great lap from him. The Mighty Frax. Yeah, the Mighty Frax, the first one to put a time in. Not having a great lap so far, since he's already on 1 minute and 7 seconds. You can also see the line he's taking. Probably means he's backing out of this one. So we will have an extra look on him, but now coming up behind the Alpine of, I believe that's Spritzy. We're starting a lap. Frax now putting a 35.9 onto Cosmo, who is going into the long right-hander. One of my favorite parts of this track. Colin agreeing in the chat that Jono had a nice last sector. I agree. And you can see the difference he made there, of course, being a second faster than current number 2, while Cosmo moves into P4. Big Puggy retired from the session. Well, we go to the Alpine of RPM Spritzy. Might be some drivers who were further up ahead already, but since I noticed him crossing the line to start a new lap, I see Mesquita now jumping to P7 in his Williams, 33.7 from him. On to the final 2 corners. Clipping the chicane there. And this one, he's missing the apex here. What can cost a lot of time, but still moves into P3. 32.9 from RPM Spritzy. And then it was the mighty Frax. Jones improving by over 1.5 tenths. Not enough for him. Glab invalidated his lap. So now we're gonna look for Gerlach, who we have seen him spin at the end of turn 1. Luckily for him, the car survived. And he goes in. Cosmo dives in as well, so I'm going to see. Mesquita will dive in. Spivey, who is on a lap. You can see he's taking those long right-handers way tighter than all the other guys. And diving in as well. Great stream time at this point. Sinful didn't set a lap yet, starting his lap now. So we go on board with the Mercedes of Sinful, who calls himself Valtteri. According to his teammate, he's gonna set a purple sector 1. So let's see. And he actually does. Also the touch system saying it's a purple sector 1, so it's not the game. Now coming out a little bit wide, costing him a couple of tenths. Locking up a little bit here as well, so. And also aborting his lap. The car behind Civil is Netty. I don't know if Netty is on a lap right now. He is. He's also improving in Sector 1 so far. Following the second American on the grid. And he loses out a lot in Sector 2. Now even invalidates his lap. So that's no improvement for him. Jones improving in Sector 1 by 1.5 tenths. So losing out a little bit in Sector 2. Long right-hander, is he going to take it tight? No, he's letting the car drift wide a little to take the end of the right-hander more tight, and almost getting his car over the track limits there, but now coming up to the line, it's a 33.2 for Jones, almost 2 tenths improvement from him. Someone moved in. Rusty Oilcan moved into P11. Reuzenbeertje and it is Alpha Tauri. 4 tenths up so far. P13 at the moment. Improved by 3 tenths, but stays in P13. Sinful, who didn't box, decided to put another lap on the same set of tire. Well, I might have slipped my attention, but number 14, Gerla, out of the session. Right on the edge there for the Mercedes on the exit. Oh, and same here. Looks like the Mercedes does not have the balance he hoped he would have in those corners. You can see him missing quite a lot of apexes, but moves his car into P14. If he can get that right, he might be even looking for maybe P10 around here. No, P10 will be a big improvement, but you never know. Jones will go in, Cosmo just getting into sector. Spritzy, who is in AI. That's not how we work, Spritzy boy. I hope the stewards see this. Don't know if it's still allowed, but that might be why they didn't want too much stream time as well. I'm moving real quick because, of course, he is in AI. I don't know who's the car behind him. It might be Gooey. He's back on board now. Westy, we were on board with the Ferrari of Westy. But we see Roach. Is it Roachins? No. No, I thought Roachins moved into P2, but he was there already. Matt Johnson actually improved his time, I guess. He's up in both sectors. Westy stays in P8, so we're gonna move to... Oh, he invalidated his lap. Someone else who is improving is Zabiaka, but lost it all again. So far it's going great with guys who improve, and then when I switch to them, they manage to lose out on it. Mesquita not on the lap, Cosmo not on the lap. Will be right in front of Spritzy right now, who's on a lap. So is Spivey, and he is improving by 3/10, almost 3/10. Rusty Oil Can retired from the session. So he has seen enough. Also, there's no time for an outlap anymore. Let's see what Spivey can do. We see a Williams crossing the line. But no, he goes in, and Spivey doesn't move up. Spritzy, the first one to cross the line. No. Westy, up on his time now. RPM Westy moving towards the line and still stays in P8. Netty is done, so the mighty effect no. Spritzy chooses not to complete his lap. Cosmo is still driving around, doing basically nothing. RPM Zabiaka now through the final corner. Don't think he will improve a lot. He doesn't. Rosebeach also not improving on his time. Uglab will be the first one to cross the line and one of the last. The Alfa Romeo driver does not improve, stays in P16, while the Rosebeach invalidated, and the Mighty Frax also now moving into the final corner, but not improving. And that's qualifying done. He did improve by 5,000 of a second. Not enough to move into the top 10. So we see a big gap going from P1 to P17. It's 3.5 seconds, more than 3.5 seconds difference We didn't see that many gaps before this season. And it's definitely not the drivers, I guess. It must have to do with the track around here, who either suits you or it doesn't. Here we are, see the final standings. It's RPM Jono doing great business after his contender in the Champions League title is not racing 6/10 up almost on Roachins in P2. Spritzy takes P3, Netty P4, P5, Cosmo, Mesquita takes P6, Jones takes P7, Westy ends up with P8, RPM Zabiaka P9, disappointing qualifying from him, and Gui with a good qualifying from him in P10. Then we see Rusty Oyoken, Spivey, the first, the American driver in P11. Rusty Oyoken takes P12. Rosebeer just stays in P13, and then I can't see it anymore, so I will take the tires real quick. RPM Simple ends up in P14, Gala P15, Uglarp in P16, the Mighty Frex in P17, and Big Puggy, who didn't set a lap at all, will be starting from the back of the pack. Well, not really, because the Maverick joined a little later and retired his car, so he will be starting on the back. But a long way to go for the Mercedes of Puggy. Lots of support for Roachins today in the chat. I'm sure he will be happy with that. Drivers are getting ready for the formation lap, who is on the way now. We are moving to the telemetry enabled, and the tire choices. We see Rozenbeertje and Sinful, the only cars on mediums, and Big Puggy even taking the hards. So Puggy is going to look for a one-stop. Some soft runners will maybe be looking for a one-stopper as well. Those medium runners will go for a two-stopper. It might be medium soft, or maybe medium soft. But I expect to see the first one. The soft runners, of course, also on a soft two-stopper. It might be a soft, medium soft, or a soft, medium, depending all on the circumstances on track. Early safety car can mess up a lot. Maybe some soft drivers right now will even go to the hards. While we have a nice view like this, seeing all those cars in the back. It looks like a really dusty track so far. Let's see if we can see it on board as well. We can't. But I'm pretty sure nobody cares about that either. So we move on to Jono, who is taking off in the formation lap already with the Roachins, especially pulling a Lewis Hamilton here. You can see Nettie, who lost his gears, I don't know. Here you see the predicted pit stop strategy, soft, medium. As I said before, or a soft, medium. Then you will see guys pitting a little bit earlier than the other soft guys. And as I said, Spritzy now coming through the final corner, while Roachins and Jono are taking their places in the grid. Jono, of course, on the outside for turn 1. Pole in USA is around the outside. Is on the outside, but we start off with a hairpin straight away. So lots of stuff that can happen. The game now giving another strategy as well. That's a soft, medium, hard. I don't know why they showed that one. Pretty sure nobody will do that one. Oh no, it's a soft, hard. I'm also sure no one will do that. Cars lining up, waiting for the Maverick to take his spot. He just did. And then we get the lights on going. Great view from Spritzy's car. We move to Netty. It's 5 lights and we're off in the USA for round 11 in low gear. Great start from Netty. Jono also has a great start, and I don't know what's happening there. It looked like a big desync there from one of the Alpines. Netty's coming out, and Gui broke his front wing already in turn 1, and there's a lot of cars side by side actually. You can see on board here with Spivey, and there's a lot of cars on track with damage right now, while the other McLaren, Rusty Oyokan, had a way bigger issue than his teammate. And it's a virtual safety car because Gui is completely off at the end of the S's. Jono managed to keep his lead. Rogins somehow recovered well back in his P2. Spritzy still P3 where he started. Cosmo got 1 position out of it. Netty not having the greatest start, not the start he hoped for at least. Someone else who got a great start is Big Puggy, P12. 6 positions gained for him in the first lap. So the Mercedes engine is definitely doing its work. While the VSC shows a delta, of course, Jono manages to get the gap on 1.3 seconds already, and we're off racing again. The Mighty Frax gets overtaken by Gerhard. No, Gerhard dives in. Like I said, a lot of cars with damage at the moment. Big Puggy, who already gained 6 positions, is looking to gain a 7th one as well. I'm gonna move this away if you don't mind, because it annoys me a lot. Right behind Uglarp in the Alfa Romeo. Having a little peek there. Stick his nose in, but chose not to go for the move. The Maverick, of course. Not only Puggy had a great start, but the Maverick went from P90 to P13 as well. And as you can see, lots of gaps forming already. Jono is moving away from Rogic, and both of the Alfa Romeos are side by side. So Puggy went past Uglarp, and the Maverick decided to move on with Puggy. Maverick also wearing no helmet. It's a cool guy. This is at the moment the only fight we got on track. Yeah, of course, a little bit further back we got the 2 no assist guys. Rusty Oyokan and Sinful. Ooh, Sinful going for a move, but going extremely wide there. So Rusty Oyokan can just switch it back and regain his position. While Spritzy now moved outside of a second. In the lap we actually got DRS enabled, and we got a yellow flag. And that's Gui and Rusty Oyokan and Sinful. So I don't know what happened there. Sinful is the only one who has a little bit damage on his front wing so far. And Jono cruising away 2.5 seconds, actually losing out in sector 1. Purple sector 1's for Rogins the entire time, but fastest lap is for Jono. 6/10 faster in 1 lap than Rogins currently. While Spritzy needs to defend from Cosmo here. And Big Puggy and the Maverick keep it going on. The fight continues between these two. The Maverick, you can see, having better traction on those soft tires. But Pucky doing really well on those hards. Oh, the Maverick now falling off a little bit in the right-handers. But will not get DRS on this. Yeah, he did. I don't know how. I believe he was on 1.1 second behind at the detection zone, but nevertheless he got it. Let's hope for at least the Maverick. He can keep on fighting Puggy. Also, let's hope it for the stream, of course, because these gaps are not helping out. While we move to RPM Cosmo in P4, really close now behind RPM Spritzy. And we are getting on the long straight, where the wing can be opened on that Alpha Tauri. Netty will open it in his Williams as well, so Spritzy will maybe be hoping Netty might be able to go for a move. Cosmo had a look, but he decided not to. If his pace is better, you will not be hoping to be stuck behind a car in front for too long. Spritzy now gaining on Rogins. So that's also not what you're hoping for, while the Maverick lost out a position to his teammate. Roosbeertje now really close to the Maverick, so maybe a little bit of a mistake there from the Maverick. Westy trying to get into the second of Zabiaka. We're looking at the wing of the Ferrari right now. Better exit than Zabiaka out of turn 1. So it's all up to the S's now to gain enough time. But Zabiaka is right behind his teammate Jones. So he will get DRS as well. And we see Wesley losing out a lot of time in the S's. Spritzy and Cosmo now switching positions. It's the Alpha Tauri who got the DRS. So it might be a bad exit from Spritzy there on the straight. And we got a yellow flag. We lost the Maverick. And it's a full car safety car. What is going to happen right now? Sinful will be happy with this one. Just pitting for the hearts. And let's see what the leader in the race, RPM Jono, is going to do. He gained a gap of 6 seconds to the number 2 in only 5 laps. So he will be fuming with the safety car. And threatened to stay out there. At the end he doesn't. His teammate does. Spritzy stays out on his soft tires. So no double stack at the Alpine garage here. Jono going for a new set of softs. So it's soft medium, I guess, for Jono. And his teammate will probably go for a soft hard. And here you can see P2 Big Puggy coming from the back on those hards. Still needs to box, of course. But so does Spritzy. And all the soft runners right now going to the tires. We see Rogins. He took the gamble. Pitting for the hards. Taking those to the end. And Mesquita did the same. So far, Mesquita had a lot of unlucky races. Showed some great pace in qualifying and in the race. But as I said, a lot of unlucky races. Lots of DNFs. Some avoidable, some not. Jones also went for the hards. Westy went for the softs again. So both Ferraris on a different strategy as well. And I don't know what's going on here. Looks like both Alpha Tauri cars are overtaking each other. But going on, the Mighty Flex chose the mediums. Sinful was already on hards. Will be able to catch the gap, the pack again. So he will be happy with this. Well, we move on board with the leader in the race, RPM Spritzy. As you can see, the position changes. Big Puggy 16 positions gained so far. Glarp 13. And Rosebeertje also gained 6 positions. He's in 6th place on a medium compound. So it will be interesting to see what he's going to do. Cars around need to box. He might go for hards. He might go for a soft run. This week we got the President back in this round. I was planning on not using it yet, but by the looks of it, Sinful needs to catch up with the grid. Might be on later in the race. I'm going to answer some of the questions to you guys in the chat. Just let me know which question you want to know. First question we asked was, the RPM arrives in Texas this round, a difficult track in both drivers' opinion. How is your thoughts on this track? So if you are curious to know the thoughts of the drivers on track about this tricky circuit, just let me know, and maybe in the next safety car, let's hope not, we can answer some of those questions. Strategy, it's about driver strategy. They don't tell too much about it, but we can give it a go if you want to know that one. Practice, some will say they don't practice, but we all know they do. And their most memorable moment on this track in real F1 history. So just let me know in the chat if you are curious to any of the questions. Evil Master joining in the chat saying, I really hate this track now. I don't know why. He's not driving in this pack, but he might have his reason. Marko Salinovic also joining the chat. Let's go Alpine and Gerlach. So not only Ferrari and Rochin supported here anymore. Our Chief Steward RPM Boris also joining. How are you doing, Boris? Let us know. Well, let me know. Good to see you. And we get the message, safety car in this lap. Getting a response from Colin already. Best moments of USA bucket. They will all be lying on the rest of them anyway. Yeah. Well, Buggy is in P2 on his hard tires. He said in the chat doing last to first. Looking good for him so far. Spritzy on his old softs is going to go for the restart and looks like he's off. And not a great restart at all from Spritzy there. Both AlphaTauri switching positions around. Jono overtaking Urglar already in turn 1, so back in P3. We'll be hoping Rochins gets stuck behind him. That doesn't happen because Urglar also gets passed by Rochins. Now it's all up to Jono on his fresh softs. Rochins, who was in P2 6 seconds behind, went for the hard, so will not come in anymore. Rochins picks up a penalty as well. I'm pretty sure his supporters in the chat will not be too happy with that. So let's see if Puggy can go for a move on Spritzy, I was about to say, but Puggy needs to defend from RPM Jono first. Jono moving to the inside, backing out of it again. Yeah, doesn't take the gamble here. Looks like Gui is going for it. Yeah, Gui. Oh, it's 3 wide here. Gui, Rosebeertje and Spivey. Gui actually gaining the position. Rosebeertje thought the better of it. And Rusty Oil can now plants it on the inside of the AlphaTauri driver as well. So Rosebeertje losing out on 2 positions now. He will not be too happy with it, but Still a long way to go. All those guys are on the medium compound as well, so a lot can happening. While I'm moving to Gerlach a little bit, because of course he has a lot of support in the chat, so let's give him some stream time as well. Hope you guys can all see it well. Currently being chased down by RPM Sinful, while Uglarp loses a position to RPM Cosmo and AFS Netty. Sinful going for the move on the inside there, but Gerlach trying to switch it back around the outside. Oh yeah, needed to back out of that one. Contact would be crucial, while Jono moved into the lead, missed that one. Puggy also overtakes Spritzy on his old soft, so when is Spritzy actually planning on going in? Maybe try stay it out one more lap. He's actually going for a move around the outside here. That opens up the inside on the next corner. Great move there from Spritzy. Brilliant move. Now going a little bit wide on the exit. That might turn into a warning for him. He's on 2 warnings already, so he needs to be careful if he wants to finish the race without any penalties. Now DRS gets enabled, and Spritzy will do all he can to keep up Pig, Puggy and Rogins to get Jono away from the pack probably. Having a look at Spritzy's tire wear right now. But it's not too bad. It's 40% on the front right, so he might be able to stay out for a couple of more laps. 2, 3 maybe. And try maybe even a medium one stop. I don't know how long they can go. And we got a yellow flag. And that's RPM Cosmo who is cutting the grass. Well, we see someone lost joining in the chat as well. Prof Pratik. Name sounds familiar. The lost kid returned. While we see Zabiaka closing in on Uglarp and going for the move as well. Same for Westy. Taking benefit of the move of Zabiaka there. Actually blown away right now by the lost kid joining in the chat. I see I'm not the only one. Well, welcome back, Prof. Hope you enjoy the race. Well, we move to Cosmo really close to Jones. Will open the wing, but so will Jones. But the exit of Jones is better here. And I am not too happy with this camera view, to be honest. Cosmo, his softs having better traction. In front we see Eskita and Uglarp fighting through the S's. Cosmo now closing in real quick. And Jono did exactly what he did from the start on. 6.2 second gap to Big Puggy right now. While we are on board with Spritzy, who will be looking for a move on Big Puggy, but also needs to defend from Rogins. The outside this time, he does the same trick over again. Inside on the next corner, and Puggy falls for it once again. Puggy knew this was going to happen, maybe taking a bit more of a defensive line, although he does do it now, and there's contact as well. Taking that defensive line was a little bit too late. Should have done that at the end of the straight. Lots happening in the chat right now. Jono is doing a call-in. Yes. A great pace from Jono today. Rochin's now really close to Spritzy, side by side actually. Is Spritzy going for a later break or maybe even a switchback? I hate this camera view, come on. No, it's not. It's Rochin's moving into P3 and he will be attacking Puggy now. But Spritzy did a great job for his team there. Slowing down Puggy, slowing down Rochin's. Of course, Rochin's was in P2 and will go to the end on these tires. But now 8.8 seconds behind Jono, who is on first soft, so will do at least one more stop. Netty really close to Spritzy now as well. The Williams tries to go for it, but it looks like Spritzy has a little bit more speed. He is having a look, but chooses not to. So for same counts for Rochin's. No move from him so far. There is a move going, and that's Jones on Uglap, but also Jones having a little bit of a problem on the exit there. Saves the car and keeps it on track. And the gap of Jono just passed the 9 seconds. Prof Pratik asking, is Jono Matt Johnston? Yes. Jono is Matt Johnston. Spritzy going into the pits, taking the medium, so he will go to the end on those tires. 13 laps on the soft, so 15 on the mediums will be possible. While we move to Rochin's, who will be hoping to get past Puggy, but doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up with Jono today. While Westy sneaky, silently and sneaky mixes into P5 as well. He was behind Sabiaka. He was behind him, but now into P5. So both of the Ferrari cars are looking great today. And I'm pretty sure Colin will be satisfied with this. Richie as well, of course, but I don't know if Richie is watching at the moment. Might be a new contract at Ferrari coming on for both of these drivers if they keep this up. Can we see? We won't see Rochin's going for a move. He's losing out on Puggy. Quick look at his tires. He's on hards as well. Uglap now going in. Didn't make a stop yet, I believe. As far as I know, he didn't. No, he's on 13 lap all tires. So the first stop of the Alfa Romeo of Uglap going to softs again. Not so boxing as last car on the grid, but going for a 2-stop anyway. Quite an interesting choice from him here. He might be expecting another safety car. Roosbeertje really close to Rusty Oil Can right now. Number 38 Alpha Tauri driver. Well, I missed it, but Rochin's got past with Puggy now. We quickly move back to Roosbeertje. Oh, you can see him gaining and gaining and gaining. But not enough to go for a move. Really close now. Can almost touch the rear wing. as I said, Colin really happy with both Ferraris right now, Westy in particular, considering he hates the track, yeah. And Westy even managed to get real close now behind Netty, Big Puggy and Roachens. Having a quick look at his ERS, 10%. All the cars in front not having a big amount of ERS either, so this 4-car train. This also means Roachens, of course, the first one to drive up the straight. And we got a yellow flag and looks to be Mesquita unlucky once again. Because of Roachens being the first one. And we got another safety car. Another safety car and Uglarp will move to the softs. 1 lap ago, will not be happy with this. Big Puggy will be. He still needs to do his pit stop. And I'm predicting Westy and Netty to get in as well. Evil Master saying this is unfair to Jono. It kinda is. But look at the gap he managed to get. Westy, yeah, going in as well. Great choice from him. He showed great pace today, so I don't think Jono will be in a lot of trouble. Of course, Jono went for a second set of softs as well, so he will get the medium tires right now. There's only one thing to do, at least keep up with Roachens, who has that 3-second penalty. So Roachens, the new race leader. We've seen 2 Alpines leading the race. One of them was RPM Jono, one of them was RPM Spritzy. But we didn't see any other team leading the race so far. And it's 2 red cars in a row right now. Safety car and Roachens. Now, Jono in P2, at least he did his second tire compound. Spivey actually in P3, yeah, 9 lap old medium, so they won't go to the end, I guess. That would mean he needs to do another 12 laps on those tires, 21 laps. Having a quick look at his tire wear right now, 25%, so he might even be able to take them to the end. They won't be optimal anymore, but I guess the same counts for all the guys on mediums right now. 12 laps. Yeah, well, they won't cross the 30% unless their setup is not right. Puggy, of course, went for the mediums as well. I mean, it's kind of surprising to see there's only 3 cars who actually took the softs out now. We've seen Spritzy doing 13 laps on them, and well, crossing the line now, we enter lap 17. 11 laps to go. The softs would go to the end, so that's an interesting choice. The position changes, of course. Big Puggy still is the biggest winner. Evil Master thinking the same as I just said. Well, of course, the biggest winner today is RPM Jono, dominating the race, and I'm pretty sure he will get past Roachens easily. No offense. and just pull away once again. And with Spring, the championship leader, not driving, this also means that Jono will go into the final round next week with a 7 seconds gap over Spring. Maybe even take fastest lap, makes it 9-point gap for the final race in Brazil. And with the point system we use, us asking for the tires. There you go, the tires right now. I said Brazil, of course, Evo Master corrected me. Sorry about that. It's Spa. 7 points. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Might be American BS kicking in. I might have missed the notification safety car going in. But I'm pretty sure it will go in now. Quick look on the penalties. It's 3 seconds for Roaches, 9 seconds for Spritzy. 3 for Uglap, 6 for Roosbit, 6 for Gela, and 3 for the Mighty Frex. Waiting for Roachins to restart this race. We've seen Jono, who is always strong in the restarts, and also now he's awake. Same for Puggy. Going for a move on Spivey into turn 1. Needs to take a tight line now. Oh, but great exit there from Puggy, just pulling away. Or it was a bad exit for Spivey, to be honest. Spritzy, 9 seconds of penalties, of course. Won't be fighting too hard, I guess. Westy on his fresh mediums. Yeah, fresh set of mediums for him. Spritzy 4 laps old and Spivey 11 laps old. We'll be hoping to get past these guys because he was just mixing in for a podium fight. Although at the moment I'm saying he will be hoping to get past these guys. He needs to defend from Zabiaka right now. Manages to do it as well. Zabiaka moving back to the racing line. Westy taking a little bit of the curbs there. Jono already managed to get past the Roachins. So get ready for a new gap to form. Roachins actually needs to defend from Big Puggy now. Of course, he's on the hard compound. Losing out quite a lot of time. Since nobody really wants the hards here. Well, you could see in the background Big Puggy having a massive moment there. Rusty Oil Can and Spivey changing positions. And Westy really close behind Spritzy now, 2/10. At the moment it falls back to 8, but Uglap overtaking Spivey and Cosmo doing exactly the same, and Uglap also overtaking Rusty Oil Can. So that's 2 moves in, well, barely 300 meters for the Alfa Romeo of Uglap. Great, brilliantly done. Now losing out of position again, going really wide there. Oh, and there's contact, and Spivey is off. Manages to get the car back on the grid. A lot happening here in the front. We are going to have a little look on it from the Mighty Flex's car, who is overtaking Roosbitje right now. And looking at Gela, completely on the edge of the track limit there. And it looks like it's all calmed down right now. So moving to the Mercedes, Big Puggy Again, no DRS yet, but yeah, well, there is, but he doesn't have it yet. Going on the inside here of Roach, it's turn 1 for P2 in the race. And gets the move done. Big Puggy. Let's not forget he started P18, so it's a great race from Puggy so far. Roachins picks up another 3 seconds. And that's gonna cost him a lot because he's on 6 seconds right now. Of course, Fritzy has 3 seconds. But the cars without any penalties in 6 seconds right now are Netty, Westy, Jones, and maybe Rusty might be on the edge of it. Not too sure. We need to find that out at the end. Netty falling off a little bit. Same for Westy, who was close to Spritzy all the time. Has been pushing a lot as well, but so has Westy. Spritzy. Roachin's actually 40% of ERS for him. 64 for Netty. Let's keep this on right now for a moment. Sinful overtaking Roosbeertje for P15, so he's at this moment the final car in the points. Do we see any moves coming up? Cosmo might be on for a move now on GUI. On the hards, having a better exit than the Red Bull driver. And gets the move done. P10 for RPM Cosmo. Taking a lot of revs there. You could also see GUI gaining almost 1.5 on that one. Zabiaka, who has his teammates still behind, but not within DRS range. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 1 and Sector 2. I don't know for what it's already green again, so Zabiaka also has that 3-second penalty, and Westy not fighting it too hard. Yellow flag in Sector 2. I wouldn't know for what. Oh, it's Cosmo. It was just a P10, now falling back all the way to P16. And Netty, of course, the first American on track so far. So it's a home track for him, and he is looking great to take a podium in his home circuit. In P3, only one warning so far, so keeping it clean will be crucial for him. He's even going for a move here. A late break there from Netty, and clipping the inside, leaving a lot of room for Roachins there. Clean and sensible driving from him. Might also be the first podium Netty gets in RPM, so I'm a bit biased to say go get him. Because everyone deserves a podium at some point. Roachins knows he's not gonna get it, at least not today. Cosmo pitting and will probably take the soft tires. Netty having a great run right now, taking the inside, side by side, but the move is for Netty. Roachins can't go for the inside on the next corner, so Netty had P3 in his hands on penalties already, takes P3 on track now as well. But all that waiting costs helped Spritzy catch up with Roachins as well. Of course, Spritzy has a lot of penalties as well. Yeah, he's on 9 seconds. In the meantime, both Aston Martins managed to get past Westy, falling back to P8 where he started. Well, we move to the Mighty Frax real quick, who's really close behind Sinful. Lifts off quite a lot there. And that makes him lose on Sinful again. While Reuzenbeertje now gets really close to the Mighty Frax, who still got DRS as well. But oh, great move here from Reuzenbeertje if he pulls this off. Was looking for a switchback there in turn 1. Oh, and now Reuzenbeertje picks up a 3-second penalty as well. Gerard currently in P12. Didn't do too many, didn't get involved in too many battles. Also not in too many problems. So steady race from him so far, while Gui gets overtaken by CDR Mesquita, who had a problem earlier this race. The Mighty Frax now overtaking Sinful. Sinful also knows those guys all have penalties. Westy now falling off a little bit to the car in front, but not losing to the car behind. So Jones doing great business as well. Of course, Jones led the championship in the beginning of the season, first 4 or 5 races, maybe even 6. Lost out a lot in the second half of the championship. We've seen him struggle in Monza as well. Spritzy managed to get really close to Roachens, and Spritzy has 9 seconds of penalties. Roachens got 6. So maybe Spritzy just tries to put a little bit of pressure, push Roachens in that mistake. At least he did overtake Roachens, so Puggy still in P2. And we see Jono having a comfortable 5-second gap already, 4 laps to go. So if nothing strange happens, he might be safe. Westy now managed to get in the second of Jones. Jones also picked up 3 seconds. So Westy is the first car in line on a lot of cars in front with penalties. And I'm going to tell you exactly how much. It's 9 seconds for Spritzy, who will lose out to Westy. 6 seconds to Roachens, who will also lose out to his teammate. And Roachens even retired. Oh, he's there in the boarding. And we got another safety car coming out. So we're going to sprint for another 2 laps probably. And I don't know any French, but I'm sure in the Alpine garage they will be screaming for Mikey right now. Because Jono, every time when he gets a comfortable gap, the safety car manages to come out. And this time it's Roachens who DNFs. But getting back on what I was talking about, 9 seconds for Spritzy, 3 seconds for Zabiaka, and 3 seconds for Jones. So there might be 2 positions in it for Westy as it stands right now, and the pack is coming all together again. Let's see what Jono is going to do. Is Jono going to take the risk? Boxing? Then maybe Puggy and Nettie, they all stay out. Jono ends up in traffic and he doesn't. Is there anyone who takes the gamble on a pit stop? Those penalty cars, of course they won't. Westy doesn't. Rusty Oil Can doesn't. As expected, they all stay out for another 2 lap sprint. Because I think the safety car will come in this lap straight away. Rozenbeertje is actually pitting. Same for Sinful. I believe Sinful doesn't have a single penalty either, so lots of positions to gain for him as well. It's all about keeping up right now. Fresh softs for Rozenbeertje. Fresh softs for Sinful. So 2 cars on track taking those fresh soft tires right before the end. Any predictions right now? Let them know in the chat. Myself, I'm pretty sure Jono will be safe. Will be able to manage it off. Cars in front. Let me have a quick look on the warnings for the top 3. Yeah, Big Puggy is 1 warning away from a 3-second penalty as well. And both Jono and Nettie only on 1 warning. While I'm actually waiting for the message for the safety car to come in, I can't imagine the game letting us do 1 lap of racing. Might have missed it again, because the safety car is taking off. On board with Big Puggy. Wait, what? Let's go on board with Nettie, who showed great pace as well. See who's awake at the restart. Nettie is less awake. Losing out a lot already to Big Puggy and Jono. Oh, moment there for Big Puggy, but keeps it on track. Westy will be extremely focused now on keeping up with the guys in front. At least keep up with Zabiaka, who is the only one. Yeah, he's the one with 3 seconds, and Jones. Stick with the Aston Martins, and you're looking for a P4 right now. After the DNF of his teammate, Ferrari will be really happy with that finish. Can we maybe even see a move from Nettie on Big Puggy for P2? That would be great as well. For now, the gaps are really big. The gap for Westy isn't too big. Zabiaka taking the middle of the track, so Westy goes for the outside. Zabiaka closing the door on the exit, but Westy switching it back, and there's contact, and ooh. Westy keeps it on track. As far as I can see, didn't pick up any damage. Zabiaka did. A little bit of wing damage on the Aston Martin, who's under pressure of the Williams right now. Rival Master saying it's not nice. Yeah, I'm not a steward, so I won't take my judgment on it. Westy still save it, those 3 seconds to Jones. See him also gaining a little bit, so now losing out a little bit. Needs to work a bit higher up, a bit harder in the final sectors of the race to get that P4. There will be no DRS for anyone. Oh, Jones actually spun. So All Westy now needs to do is keeping it on track. And he gets at P4. Spritzy has 9 seconds of penalties. Mesquita looking for a move. No, he isn't. Rusty Oil Can behind. Oh, a lot of contact again. Drivers not giving each other any space in the final laps of this race. 2 drivers without penalties as well. So Big Puggy managed to get really close to Jono at the end. Jono might be not taking any risk. He's the first car coming out of the final corner. It's a race win for the Alpine of RPM Jono. Big Puggy finishes in P2 after a great drive coming from P18. Netty takes P3 in his home Grand Prix. Westy moving up because of penalties to P4. Great result for him. Mesquita finishes P5. Finally gets a deserving finish as well. Rusty Oil great pace from him again. P6, Spritzy losing out on positions because of penalties to P7. First Aston Martin on the grid, P8. Gui takes P9, Sinful. Great drive from him as well. P10, Jones. Look to have a decent result after struggling a lot with this track. But finishes in P11. Then we got Gerlar in P12. The Mighty Frax in P13. Spivey takes P14. Uglab finishes in P15. Rozenbeertje and Cosmo, both Alpha Tauris, finishing in P16 and 17. And the Rochins and the Maverick, unfortunately for them, they got a DNF. So Jono, 40 points plus 2 points for the fastest lap. Gained 42 points right now. He will be really happy with that. So he moves into the final race of the season with a 9-second gap to Spring, who was not driving today. 5th podium of the season for Matt Johnston. Also nice for him. A 3rd one for Big Puggy. And as I said, Netty taking his first podium in RPM. Great drive from him. Well, I'm going to invite the podium. No, I'm not doing any podium interviews, guys. Sorry. Since I'm all alone and I don't want the stream to fall away. Orders from the director, I'm not allowed to let the stream fall away. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was a great opening of this week's round. Make sure to tune in same time, same channel tomorrow for RPM mid-gear. And I wish you all a good night.